What's happening YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video. Listen to that diesel engine purr. Now if you don't know why I'm so happy that engine's purring away, then you definitely need to go out and check out the previous video where we changed the pulleys, the tensioners and the auxiliary belt on this car to make it run as sweet as it does. And something else we're going to do to continue with the way this car is running is today we're going to be giving it a full service. We have got 10 litres of oil. I think these take around 6.5 to 7 litres. I've got a pollen filter, an oil filter, and I've also got an air filter. Now I did order a fuel filter for the car, however the company that I've ordered it from sent me the wrong one, so I've sent that back and I've actually found a genuine Range Rover fuel filter for sale on eBay, cheaper than I can get a normal filter. So I thought I might as well get my money back for the wrong one and order the genuine one, and that's exactly what I've done. So I'm waiting for that to come. We can crack on, we're getting the rest of the stuff done and wait for the fuel filter to arrive. That should be here in the next few days. What I'm going to do first then is just let the car get a little bit of heat in the engine to make the oil nice and thin, ready for when we take it out. So I'll finish my coffee and I'll catch you in a couple of minutes. So the car has been running now for a good 20 to 30 minutes and the engine is nice and warm, ready for us to get this oil out. But before I carry on, if you don't know what this is Project Evoque. It is a cheap Evoque that I bought to try and get back on the road, and we're well on our way with that. I'm hoping that this car is going to be with me for about another 3 to 4 weeks before we get it in for its MOT and get it up for sale. But today, let's crack on with this service. Right, so we're back, and the reason I'm saying back and it's the same video is because it's actually the next day. Let me talk to you what happened. I think where I left you off was I'd got the car in the air and we were ready to drain the oil. Now before I drained the oil I thought, I know, let's locate the fuel filter, no sorry, let's locate the oil filter and see where it is and see where we can about getting it off. So the ingenium, however you say it, engine, the oil filter is located just behind here. I'll get the engine cover off and show you exactly where it is. So this is our oil filter housing just here. So as you can see, it's kind of like a plastic top that you have to screw off. Other ones that I've done like this, like what's on the Focus, is it has a big like nut on the top that you put a socket and turn it off. As you can see, that one doesn't. So I tried to put a set of grips on it and I kind of couldn't crack it off, and then I decided to do a bit of research, and there is a specific tool which is one of these which sits on top, but these, they come in fucking 1,000,005 different sizes. So I had to do a bit of research to find the right one. So if you're looking for one of these for your Evoque or Discovery that's got this 2 litre turbo diesel ingenium engine in, you need the 16mm with the 14 flutes removal tool. I'll link in the description. I got mine off Amazon. I think it was about £11 with next day delivery. So we bought one of them. To show you how it kind of works, that sits on top of there nice and snug, and it's then got a 3H socket adapter on top. Use it to take off. And that little tool was a pain in the ass to get hold of. I actually bought one from GSF and it said on the website it was the right one for the car, but it wasn't, so I took that back and got my money back, although it takes 5 days to get my £13 back from GSF. Hey-oh. Anyway, ran over. I'm going to get the oil drained out. It is the next day, and the fuel filter, I've had a message, is out for delivery. I should get that within the next 45 minutes. So we should be able to box off this full service on this Evoque today. So as to be expected, and like with most one of the cars on, we have got an under tray. This looks quite durable to be fair, but I suppose Land Rover looks like it's held on for quite a few 10 or 12 mils. So yeah, let's get this off, expose the bottom of the engine. So before I drain the oil, I want to make sure that this tool is actually going to do what I need it to do. So it sits on quite snug. There we go, oil filter housing I'm just going to loosen it off before we get the oil out. So that should be free to come out when I'm ready. Happy days. I actually figured out yesterday that the sump plug is a 13. So I'm just going to put a spanner on there. So I've managed to get it with a ring spanner. Yeah, I just cracked it off. Oh, that oil is absolutely filthy. It was definitely due a change, I'm not sure. There it goes. Right, so while the oil dribbles out, I'm gonna get this oil filter out. Whoa, look at that. Just like the oil in the car, that has seen better days. Right, so oil filters off the car, absolutely minging. The oil's still drooling out of it. You can see that has 100% seen better days. These, they're a bit, you just kind of pop them off. Wow, trying to save a date on the filter. Oh, look at it, it's all gunked up. Like the oil's all, that's bad. All the oil's gunked up in the car. This probably wouldn't have helped our DPF issue. I don't know how you can see in these filters, but the gunk that's in this filter is, look. Wow, never seen it like that before. Look at that. I think we've done this oil change just in time, so I think all that gunk won't have helped our DPF issue. It'll be free flowing, look at it. Wow. I reckon that this weren't far off being a clogged oil filter, I'll be honest. Right, fresh gloves on. Let's get this sealer. New seal going on. New filter, that's ready to go back on the car. So oil filter's ready to go back on the car, as you've just seen. Before we do that, let's get this air filter out. I'm intrigued to see how dirty this air filter was, because that's probably the worst oil filter I've ever taken off the car. One air filter, not as bad as the oil filter. So air filter's out. It needed changing, but it's nowhere near as bad as what the oil filter was. That nice new shiny one. Yeah, I suppose when you compare them, that is pretty bad. However, it's not the worst I've ever seen, if I'm honest. So I think now it's a case of getting the new stuff back in. So get the air filter in first, then we'll get the oil filter in. We'll lower the car down, I'll fill it up with oil, and then once I've got the car kind of filled up with oil, then and we know it's running and we've got enough oil in it, then we'll tackle the fuel filter. So new air filter going in. Next job then, I've put the sump plug back in. Sump plug's back in, it's nice and sealed, all our filters are back in. So we're now going to fill the car with oil. It takes about, I think, 6.5 litres. So I'm going to put a full 5 litres in, see if we're even touching the dipstick, and go from there. So we're cracking on. We are cracking on. Last thing, I'm going to change the fuel filter, the diesel filter on this car. Let me grab the new one. So then, this is our new filter. Like I said at the start of the video, this is a genuine Range Rover Jaguar part, and this was cheaper than the aftermarket ones. For what reason, I am not sure, but this was half the price. So your average filter for these is about 70 to 80 pound, and I paid just, I think it was 35 pound for this filter. Still expensive for a filter in my opinion, but nonetheless it was cheaper than the aftermarket ones. Also, something I've looked into then is changing these. You don't actually have to pre-fill these. I'm not confident on how that's going to work, because I always pre-fill fuel filters as best practice, but yeah, apparently you don't have to. You can do this. They've got a self bleed on them. So let's get this on the car and let's try this self bleed process. Right then, so like I said, apparently we can now self-bleed this new filter. So what we do is, we have to do a 3-step process of turn the ignition on, don't try and start the engine, turn the ignition on for 65 seconds, switch it off, and do that process 3 times. So I've got my phone here, I'm gonna put a timer on. Obviously I'm not gonna film the process because it'll take too long, but yeah, if this works I'll be impressed. So yeah, first one, let's go, ignition on. Right, so we've done the process 3 times. The car should now start. Let's find out. Cut out. So the car did cut out initially, I then fired it again, and we're running. That little bonging's because doors open, ignition's on. But yeah, we're running, so it did cut out. I fired it again. Sweet as a nut. So that's it, we are done. Full service is now complete on the Evoque. Pollen filter, air filter, oil and fuel filter. It's got fresh oil in as well, so we're getting this car back to full health. We've also smashed out the tensioners, pulleys and auxiliary belt in previous video, so make sure you check that out. So yeah, I've just had a quick look underneath the car at how I'm going to access the DPF. That's the next job on the Evoque, get this DPF cleaned out, or try and get this DPF cleaned out. I'll be honest, I'm overly confident that I'm going to be able to achieve that on the driveway. I think it's going to have to go in and kind of have like an industrial type clean, but I've had a quick look. I've actually just took the AdBlue injector off, and the access port is like full, like it's caked. So yeah, look forward to that. That's the next video. I'm going to be filming that tomorrow. The locks are also here in the boot, so that's another job. And then we're done. If we can achieve them things, pretty much there, we're on our road. It's time for MOT, bar a good clean obviously. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one.